How bad is Toronto's affordability? It's bad, but is it the worst in Canada? Well, in this video, we're going to go through an article which looks at some National Bank of Canada data that talks about affordability, and it's going to talk about affordability across the board. And make sure you stay until the end because we're going to give you the numbers, and we're also going to tell you what kind of income you would need in order to afford a home in Toronto. So let's get to it. Hi everybody, my name is Connie Sarvanandan and I'm a real estate agent and investor here in Toronto and the GTA. And I think we should just get straight to the article. So this is the article. It's from BlogTO, and BlogTO uses the information that's found in the National Bank of Canada's Housing Affordability Monitor. So I will link to both these articles down below. Sometimes I have issues because of copyright, but I will try and link to both of them. So what this article says is Toronto just experienced its steepest affordability decline in more than 40 years. And everything in this article, I think we're all facing right now, so nothing should be a big surprise. But basically it's saying with rising rent prices, an unstable real estate market, and a general inflation, Toronto seems to be less and less affordable by the day. So rising rent prices, 100% true. I'm seeing it across the board. You know, the activity that we were seeing on housing for the last 2 years, resale housing has now moved over to rentals. You know, rentals are just so competitive. We did an article where somebody called it the Hunger Games, and I think that's exactly what it is. People are just going crazy over rentals right now. Then we have the unstable real estate market. So they call it unstable because, you know, we hit this peak in February and now we've seen declines every month since. Versus last year, we're still about flat, but that was as of July. So who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the year. So very much an unstable real estate market. And then finally, general inflation. So general inflation, we're seeing it across the board. When you go to the grocery store, you see how much more expensive things are. But then we also have mortgage rates that are rising because Bank of Canada is raising its overnight rates and other things that affect and drive the mortgage rates have been changing. So we have seen the mortgage rates rise several times this year because of monetary policy changes. So all of that is affecting affordability. And so what the National Bank of Canada does is it runs this housing affordability monitor, and they're saying for the months of April, May, and June, housing affordability was the worst deterioration in 41 years in that Q2. And so they're saying a mortgage on a representative home in Canada now takes 63.9% of income to service, the most since 1982. So we are going all the way back to 1982 to see this kind of deterioration. And so now they're saying it takes almost 64% of somebody's income to service a mortgage. And they link to this article, which goes through housing affordability by across Canada, and then it goes through by different cities, including Toronto. So we're going to look at Toronto really quickly after this, but that's where it links. If you're finding value in these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you have any real estate needs in Toronto or the GTA, feel free to call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to help you out. And if you want to talk to me directly, I'll put my calendar link below. We welcome all comments, good or bad, because that's what makes us better. So feel free to comment below. The only other thing that it says in here is that, you know, GTA is really in line with what's happening in Canada. Analysts are blaming all kinds of different things, including the rising interest rates. But this is where we're talking about affordability from a rental perspective, but also from a home ownership perspective. So the numbers that you see here, they're going to be a little off from other numbers that I presented. And it's not to say that they're wrong. It's just we're not always looking at the same numbers. So it all depends on what's included in the data. For example, for Toronto, you can just do Toronto proper, or you can do Toronto and the GTA, or you can do whatever was listed in TREB for Toronto. So there's different ways of measuring it, but they're all kind of close. They may be a little bit off, but they're close enough to at least give direction. So what they're saying is for condos, if you have an average price point of $765,000, you need a household income of $168,000 in order to afford this condo. And then for a non-condo, they're saying the average price point is $1.4 million, and you need an average household income of $265,000 in order to afford this kind of home. So it's not great news, because it's not great news for homeowners. It's not great news for renters. It's just not great news. And even if you're an investor, you have rising interest rates. So it's not good news across the board. With that said, here's my opinion on all of this. This is a 40-year low, right? So, or a 40-year high as far as deterioration of affordability. But it is 40 years. It's not ever, it's 40 years. So in the early 80s, there was another crisis, and it seems like we got out of it. So I'm hoping that something similar will happen. We are seeing the craziness of Q1 when it comes to housing go away. We are almost like at a normal market right now. Buyers certainly have a seat at the table again. We're seeing things go on the market and stay on the market. We're not seeing the bidding wars. Even with properties that are really highly desirable, we're seeing a lot fewer offers and a lot more balance when it comes to offers. That people just aren't going nuts like they were before. So I think that is that's a good sign, and hopefully inflation comes under control so that the interest rates will also come back down. Then it'll start to get back to normal. Now, if you are interested in buying or selling in this market, here's what I would say. And by the way, there's always buyers and sellers in every market. The market doesn't stop. But what's key in this market is knowledge. So you need to understand exactly what's happening in your marketplace, in your pockets. You need to understand what happened with sales, not just for this year, but for the last 3 years. You need to understand what's happening with interest rates and how that's going to affect your affordability. If you're a buyer, you need to make sure that you have a proper pre-approval from a lender that's looked at all of your qualifications, including proof of income, things like that, so that you are really well informed. And that way you can take advantages of opportunities as they come up. So as a seller, it might be that, you're seeing an uplift in movement in your particular area, and you want to take advantage of that if that happens. As a buyer, you may be interested in a specific complex, and you see that there's an opportunity with one property because it's been on the market and they just had a price reduction and you want to go. But in order to take advantage of things like that, you just need to be fully prepared. So if you're a seller, you need to make sure that you're getting your house ready for a potential sale when you decide. For a buyer, you need to make sure that you are financially set to make an offer if that opportunity comes up. Because no matter what happens, the more knowledge you have, the better your buying and selling experience is going to be. So thank you for watching. If you have any feedback, please let me know. I love hearing the feedback. I love knowing what you want me to do videos on, and I try to mix it up so that we do get as much variety as possible. And then if you have anything negative to say, let's hear it. I want to have a good conversation, and I want to hear debate. I love what's been happening in some of my other videos where we have some other people that have some knowledge that they're sharing as well. And then if you have any real estate needs, feel free to call, text, email, or WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to take care of you. And if you want to talk to me directly, I'll put my calendar link below. Thanks for watching.